In this lesson, you will learn how to mark the in and out point of individual clips. This will really help speed up your workflow when you're editing in the timeline. So as you learned from the previous lesson, you can add clips from the project panel or the source monitor right into your sequences. And when we did that, we added the entire clip. And I know that because if I look at this clip right here and I zoom up on it here, I can see that there is a little white triangle here at the beginning and the end of this clip. And these triangles indicate the very beginning and the very end of this entire media clip. But often, you're not going to want to add an entire clip, especially if you're working with raw camera files, because usually you'll have a little bit of noise or a little bit of camera motion before the part that you actually want to include in your sequence. And so adding the entire clip to the sequence and then editing those beginning and end bits out is not the best workflow, especially if you have a bunch of other items in the sequence. A better way to do it is to define the in and the out points of individual clips before you add them to your sequence. And this is called marking. So if I jump back here to the project panel and I double click on the intro, that's going to open up here in the source monitor. Now if I move the playhead all the way back to the beginning, and I hit the space bar on my keyboard to play this clip, you'll get an idea of what this looks like.
I mixed up that one, sorry.
Go from the top.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Have you ever had a recipe for chocolate chip cookies that left something to be desired? It can be daunting trying to find just the right recipe.
So you can see there was some stuff before Cheryl started talking that I really don't want to include in my edit. But if I pull in the entire clip, I have to then go in here and start making those changes, which is a little bit too much work. It's not the best workflow. So instead, I'm going to mark the in and the out point. And I can do that in a few different ways. Right down here, there's a mark in button and there's a mark out button. So I can play
Thank you. Okay.
Until right before Cheryl starts talking, which is right here. And then I can click the mark in button. I can also use I on the keyboard as the shortcut. And then I can go to where she's done talking and then mark the out point.
Have you ever had a recipe for...
So I'll just scrub along here. So it's right about here is where Cheryl stops talking.
Bakery style cookies. Ziegler, and I'm going to show you in this video how to make big bakery style cookies.
So right about here, I'll mark an out point. And when I do that, you can see that now there is this in-out point selection, which is showing me where I've marked the in and the out point in this entire clip. Now, if I were to make a little space in my sequence here and pull this clip in, you can see that this media clip is much shorter. This is the same exact clip as right here. These are both the CCI intro wide clips. But this clip is only the part that I really want. And this makes editing a lot easier because now I don't really have to pull in a lot of junk that I don't need into my sequence. I can streamline that and I can pull in just the stuff that I really need. And so let's try this with another clip. I'm going to double click on adding the vanilla, and that's going to bring that up in the source monitor here. And you can see that it says that right here, source CCI adding the vanilla _ wide. So if I play this, okay, and action with the vanilla.
We're going to measure 1 tablespoon.
You can see right about there is where I want to mark the in point. So I want to back the playhead up a little bit and then play it again.
We're going to measure.
I'm going to go back a little farther. So right about here, I'm going to mark an in point. And this time I'm going to do it with a keyboard shortcut, which is I. And then I'm going to play to the end.
We're going to measure 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Usually recipes call for a teaspoon, but you'll get a really great flavor by using triple that in a tablespoon for this recipe.
Wow. So I'm just going to stop playback with the space bar, and then I'm going to press O on the keyboard, and that's going to mark the out point. Now, you don't have to get really specific with the in and the out points in the source monitor. This is more of a higher level marking of the in and the out point. And then you can get into the refining of the actual edit points once it's in your sequence. And then you can see how well it flows from the previous clip and trim up the beginning and the end to make it really nice. But this is the process you want to do before you add this to your sequences. Now, you can also do this in this thumbnail view here. If I select one of these clips, and this time I selected adding the vanilla, you can actually see that the in and out points are already marked and highlighted by this blue line here, which makes it really easy. But if I select another clip here, I can hit play, and it'll play right down here. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see. And I can mark in and out points right from the project panel as well. So I can select this clip. And right from here, I can just hit I, scrub to the end, and then hit O. And if I double click, it'll bring it up in the source monitor, and you can see I've done the same exact thing right here. I've marked my in and my out points. So it's another way that you can do it. It works really well for quickly marking in and out points because you can do it right here. You don't have to bring it up in the source monitor. It also gives you a way to view where those in and out points are without bringing it up to the source monitor, which is pretty cool. So that's how you mark your in and out points. And then when you bring them into your sequence, they're all trimmed up for you and they're much easier to work with. In the next lesson, you're going to go one step further with this idea and learn how to create subclips from a longer clip.